bigger than the critical value. This is how far you can be off. I mean, you can be off a little bit by chance. I mean, if your observed was 300 and 100, it would be a perfect 3-to-1 ratio, and your chi-squared value would be 0. So if it's a perfect ratio, chi-squared is 0. The further off it is, the higher chi-squared value is. So what this critical value represents is how much can you be off and still say you've got that ratio. So if you're up to this much, yeah, off a little bit, but still within normal limits of chance. If it's over this, which that is, then you have to say, no, too far off, can't be. Can't be a 3-to-1. Don't know what it is, but it's not a 3-to-1.
So with the Mount Highway crossing things, like, will you always have a set, like 3-to-1 ratio, or 1 to 2-to-1, or that sort of thing? Like, will you tell us that, and then will it always be 3-to-1, or can you throw us other stuff?
What I'll give you are parents. So I'll either tell you it's a monohybrid cross, or I'll tell you, you do this kind of a cross, or if you cross a heterozygote times a homozygous recessive, and you find that there are say you've got 180 dominant offspring and 220 recessives, did you get the expected ratio? What is the expected ratio if you do this cross? So first you've got to be able to do this cross from this parent, get 2 gamete types. From this parent you get 1. So you expect 1 dominant for every 1 recessive. So you expect a 1-to-1 ratio. If I add these up, again, this is the observed, add those together and I get what? 400. In a perfect 1-to-1 ratio, what would I expect? 200 of each. So I should take my 400, perfect 1-to-1 ratio. Equal numbers, so 200, 200 is my difference. 20 and 20, difference squared. 400. Difference squared over expected. 400 over 200. 400 over 200. Chi-squared, 4. Is that a 1-to-1 ratio? How many degrees of freedom do you have? No, that's critical value. Degrees of freedom is always number of phenotypes minus 1. So I already gave it to you. 3.84. Same critical value. If you got two phenotypes and you've got critical value of 3.84, anytime you always have probability of 0.05. You've got 1 degree of freedom if you've got 2 phenotypes. So whenever you're working with 1 gene, you've got either a dominant or recessive phenotype. Your critical value is going to be 3.84. If you've got 2 genes, then your critical value is going to be 7.82. So it's standard. So critical value for this problem is the same as for that one, 3.84.
What were the other critical values you said? I mean, I know it's 3.4, but you said no. So you're not
Ask me when you get to genetics. Ask Dr. Isaacs when you get to genetics. Those you'll have to memorize when you get there, but here I'll give it to you. If you need it, I'll give it to you. I think it's 7.82. So, is this a 1-to-1 ratio? No, because 4 is more than 3.84. So, it's just a little bit too far off to be a 1-to-1 ratio. So, no, it's not a 1-to-1. What is it? What ratio is it? Something else. Not a 1-to-1. Don't know. Chi-squared test doesn't tell you what it is. Just tells you what it's not. Okay? So, if you did the cross and came out with 180 dominants and 220 recessives, you gotta go back to the drawing board and say, well, the two parents, either you didn't cross a heterozygote times homozygous recessive, or you've got one of about 100 other modifying factors entering into it so that you don't have a 1-to-1 ratio. So, don't know what the ratio is, but it's not a 1-to-1. Okay. Other questions? Anything else you want me to go over? Otherwise, keep studying, keep working the problem.